I'm Michelle. I first met Deb in about 2018, 19, and I must admit that things had totally fallen apart at that stage because I had worked for over 20 years with the government and everything just completely fell through in 2014, and then by the time Deb came along, I will admit things were not going great at all. Yeah, it was with David's help that I got teamed up with Deb, and she's been an absolute godsend since then.
Thank you.
And also, if it wasn't for Deb, I now wouldn't also be getting the extra help that I'm getting through another organisation in Sunbury called Distinctive Options. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name's Debbie, and I got to a stage where my 3 little boys were 3 very large boys, and life went from absolute chaos because I had 3 boys within just 2 years because I had twins, and then we thought, yeah, let's have another one. That's my crazy husband over there. And then one day I was sort of looking up at them, and they didn't really need me. They needed me, but not like before. And I sort of thought, I've got some time and energy and I want to give back to the community, because actually I'm the one who I feel that I benefit 10 times more than the person that I'm helping. So a friend of mine actually was an advocate, Jodie.
Oh yes, Jodie.
Yeah, she introduced me to David, or she told me about David. So down I came, and after about 4 hours of David and I chatting, because David likes to chat too, and you know, I'm very prone to it. Just ask my husband, but no, David and I just clicked immediately. He's a really amazing, beautiful man. He knew that I was 100% in, and then along came Michelle. And we actually first met just because of circumstances at the Christmas party. That was our first meeting, and it was like, hi, I'm your new advocate, I'm your protege. Like, but we just clicked.
We did,
didn't we, Michelle?
Yes.
And
absolutely.
And like Michelle said, on a more serious note, Michelle wasn't doing very well. She was very isolated.
Yes.
In her unit alone.
Yes.
She has a family, but they are very busy and they have their issues as well. Michelle was not able to get out of the house even to do shopping. So you can imagine what that meant as far as eating a healthy diet or getting any food in the house. It wasn't happening. And Michelle does suffer with depression and anxiety as well. Yeah. So things couldn't have been much worse, really. But on the exterior, Michelle is always happy and bubbly, and it's taken, David and I a while to, really get to know Michelle and know what's happening deep inside, Yeah. And as we went along, Michelle was actually registered with NDIS, which she did herself. She went to the local meeting at the hall, she got NDIS, but there was no support. No. So I went to the meetings and that with Michelle, because she would be alone in those meetings, and I sort of was perplexed. I was like, I don't understand. She's a part of this insurance scheme. Yeah. And she's isolated in her home with no food in the home and not accessing the community, and her moods couldn't have been any lower. And I think everyone knows what that means. Very serious.
I must explain one thing though. I was actually getting out at one point to do my own shopping when I could, but when your anxiety is like up here, it makes it very hard to get out and actually do anything. Not just the shopping, but even just going out into the community and things like that. And even getting to appointments as well.
Yeah.
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 After I resigned from the government role, I had plans in place to actually try and get another job, but unfortunately I was then diagnosed with gallstones, and I then had to wait to have a operation, which luckily happened the following year, but there's been a whole heap of other things that have gone on which have meant that I haven't had a full-time job since 2014. And I will say that the depression at the moment, it's not great, and instead of saying to someone, I'm okay when I'm not, I'm now saying to people how I actually feel.
Yeah, which
because
is great.
Once upon a time, I used to just say, yes, I was okay when I wasn't. So now, if I'm not feeling okay, I'll actually tell someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people can help you,
Yes.
Michelle, you know. So, sorry, I forgot to say, Michelle came from 24 years of working virtually full-time, getting herself on the bus, often a train and a tram.
Yeah.
Anyway, public transport.
Public transport, yes.
Into the city 4 days a week for
Yes.
24 years. So that's where Michelle came, and when her job was made redundant, I think the whole world, it's like Michelle's whole world turned upside down. Her mental health hit the roof.
Yeah.
And things were never the same again,
No.
you know, particularly back then. So when we got together, there was a lot of, we had to do a bit of work together.
Yes.
And
yes.
we have managed to get you some support now, and Michelle cooks with a worker, and she goes out and does this and does that. And she's joined the best group around.
Yeah, yes.
What are they called? You want to say what they're called?
Country Women's Association Sunbury Stars.
Sunbury Stars, yes. And the women there are beautiful to Michelle.
Yes.
They'll come and pick her up.
Yeah.
Some nights she's not up to it, so she says, no, not tonight. But they've really embraced her. And what else?
I'm now a
know.
fully paid member, which now means that I can actually go and participate on stalls.
Yeah.
Yes, because if you're not a paid up member, you can't do any of the stalls.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing, Michelle was on Job Seeker, which was extraordinarily stressful and adding to her already pretty hard situation.
Yeah.
And dealing with, talk about employment agencies that were not only unhelpful but very rude, because I came with Michelle, didn't I, a few times?
Yes.
I managed to get her onto the disability pension, which she should have been on for many years, and that's relieved a lot of your stress and given you a bit more pocket money as well.
Yes.
The other thing, I've introduced Michelle to a lady that I work with, because I'm also a disability support worker, and I work with Sally in the red up the front. So I introduced these two girls, and now they are the best of friends. And Sally's come over tonight, and she's having a slumber party at your place for 4 days, I hear.
Well, we're going to be partying.
Yeah. Look out, because when these two get together. So we see a lot of each other, because I try and bring the girls together every couple of weeks, and we text, and, you know, we can talk on the phone and catch up when we can.
Yeah.
So that has been great. And the most, I think what really shows where you are, Michelle, and how much better you feel about yourself, because before, when we just met, it was really difficult to take care of yourself.
Yes.
And now that you can take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Who have you got to look after now?
Yeah.
No, not me. No, not me.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I used to have a dog. He was a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. Unfortunately, things didn't quite work out with Mr. Blitzen, as I call him, so he got rehoused. But in February this year, I went and bought a very cute little bird called Henry. He's a canary. Yes, and he talks. Rodden.
Doesn't he talk back? He talks to you?
No, he doesn't actually.
Oh, but he
talk.
understands.
He understands. Yeah. Oh, yeah, does he understand? And they're very smart little birds. Yep. Yeah. So And
What about the other names you call him sometimes?
Oh, no, I'm not going to repeat them.
Sorry. That's when he got out and flew around the house for 2 days, didn't he, love?
But there is one thing that most people don't know about canaries is that they're also very messy. So a lot of cleaning up for a lot of years. Yeah.
So I just want to end on one note, and that is that everyone sitting here tonight may know someone. It could be a family member, a neighbour, an old work colleague. You might know someone who has a little bit of extra time who is able to just make a huge difference in someone's life, because a little bit goes a long way, you know.
Yes,
So, and thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah.